The invocation will be given by Pastor Nicole Schwartz of the First United Methodist Church, and please remain standing for pledge of allegiance to the American flag.
Please join with me in prayer or observe a moment of silence. Gracious God, in this week that many of your people call holy and find hope, joy, and peace and experience your love, may our city, our nation, and our world, its people and its leaders, not only experience all of these things in abundant measure, but may we also be your hands and feet and work to bring about these things for our neighbor. God, guide our conversations and our actions tonight and always. Help us to speak with love, to hear one another's concerns in our words. Help us to see the possibility for the future of Coffeyville. Help us to put the needs of our community before our own agendas and needs, and guide us tonight and always, that we might follow your will, be beacons of hope, and that our community of Coffeyville might grow in strength and knowledge of you. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first on the consent agenda is the City Commission meeting minutes for Tuesday, March 8th, 16. And number 2 is 2016 appropriation ordinance number AO-16-06 in the amount of $4,670,216.20. If we don't have anything to talk about that, we need a motion to approve.
Move to approve consent agenda items and City Commission meeting minutes for March 8, 2016.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye. Next on the agenda is 2016 appropriation ordinance number AO-16-06A to Taylor Crane for $340.
I move to approve that in the amount of $340 appropriation ordinance 16-06A.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve appropriation ordinance number AO-16-06A. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Do I abstain or do I
Abstain.
abstain?
Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Okay, on the regular agenda items tonight, stuff for public hearings, special presentation, and proclamations. We have an issue of vacation of a portion of Pine Street, and we'll hear from Engineer Superintendent Thomas Osborne, who will make comments. And then we will open it up for a public hearing if anybody wants to talk about it.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The CVR nitrogen fertilizer plant requested the closure of Pine Street from the north right-of-way line of First to the north right-of-way line of New. At the time before they'd actually requested to close this previously, but it was the route that fed Coffeyville Ready Mix. Since then, they have made an agreement with Coffeyville Ready Mix to improve Linden Street and put in a turnaround for Coffeyville Concrete. So they're now requesting that to be closed. There was no comments made as far as in the negative from the utilities that were contacted. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Hasn't been any problems or anything with the deal? Okay. Well, we can open it up to public hearing if anybody wants to talk about it. Doesn't look like there is. We'll close the public hearing, and we need a motion to approve, or for the first reading of the ordinance to vacate this portion of Pine Street.
Move to approve ordinance number 16-04.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve ordinance number S-16-04 for first reading. Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Okay. Now we've got some proclamations to declare. We have 3 of them. The first one is for the Fair Housing Month, and there's nobody here to receive that, but I'm going to go ahead and read it right quick. Do it here, don't I? Where did I read them from here?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Like I said, this is for the Fair Housing Month, and proclamation reads, whereas the Congress of the United States passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, of which Title VIII declared the law of the land would now guarantee the rights of equal housing opportunity. And whereas the City of Coffeyville is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all. And today, many realty companies and associations support fair housing laws. And whereas fair housing groups and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development have over the years received thousands of complaints of alleged illegal housing discrimination and found too many which have proved upon investigation to be violations of the fair housing laws. And whereas equal housing opportunity is a condition of life in our city which can and should be achieved. Now therefore, I, Jim C. Taylor Jr., Vice Mayor of the City of Coffeyville, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month and express the hope that this year's observance will promote fair housing practices throughout our city. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is for the National Service Recognition Day. And is there someone here for that?
Yes, Kathy Shepard is here.
Okay. Kathy? I guess I need to be here for my mic, and you'll be there.
Okay.
If you want to say anything, you're welcome to. I don't know if I should read it first or...
Why don't you read it first?
Okay. This proclamation, again, is for the National Service Recognition Day. I didn't know what that was till a few hours ago, okay? And it's about encouraging residents to recognize and get involved in our city, so I'll read it to you. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges. And whereas the nation's cities are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet city needs, and whereas AmeriCorps and Senior Corps address the most pressing challenges facing our cities and nation, from educating students for the jobs of the 21st century and supporting veterans and military families, to preserving the environment and helping communities recover from natural disasters. And whereas national service expands economic opportunity by creating more sustainable, resilient communities and providing education, career skills, and leadership abilities for those who serve. And whereas AmeriCorps members and Senior Corps volunteers demonstrate commitment, dedication, and patriotism by making an intense commitment to service, a commitment that remains with them in their future endeavors. And whereas the Corporation for the National and Community Service shares a a priority with mayors nationwide to engage citizens, improve lives, and strengthen communities, and is joining with mayors across the country to support National Service Recognition Day. Therefore, I, Vice Mayor of Caulfield, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 5th of this year as National Service Recognition Day, and do encourage the residents to recognize the positive impact of service to our community, to thank those who serve, and to find ways to give back to our community. Maybe I'll just do this, let you hold it. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. What do you, can you tell us what you do for the city real quick, maybe?
Yes, I would love to. And I want to, first of all, thank you all for signing this proclamation. My name is Kathy Shepard, and I am the coordinator for the RSVP 4-county program, which serves Montgomery, Chautauqua, Elk, and Wilson counties. The grant is a part of Senior Corps, which is administered by the Corporation for National and Community Service. RSVP works with volunteers, and RSVP stands for Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. I always tell everybody you don't have to be retired and you don't have to be a senior, you just have to be 55 to serve in the program to help with the needs of the community. Some of the places locally that volunteers are serving include delivering Meals on Wheels, serving at food pantries such as Genesis, providing transportation for the elderly to medical appointments both locally and also to larger cities, Tulsa, Kansas City, different places like that when a specialist is needed. Many times the RSVP volunteers are the only ride that is available to people to go long distances like that. Most service providers in the transportation area can't cross state lines. So if somebody needs a specialist, other than paying a taxi, they have no way to get there if they don't have family members to take them. So that's a really important thing that we do. Since the time that we started in 2010, the volunteers have provided over 98,000 miles of transportation. They use their own vehicles. The grant reimburses them for their mileage and provides a meal for them, but they do it in their own vehicle and take them many times, not just picking up and dropping off, but sometimes even helping them get into the doctor and relaying messages about what the doctor might say and things like that to family members who weren't able to get off work or couldn't take them. Locally, volunteers have given over 65,000 hours to the communities that they serve through RSVP. That's just the organizations that partner with us that we're tracking the hours on. Following the hours through a program like RSVP or AmeriCorps is really important for communities in the case of a disaster. For instance, with Joplin, when they had the tornado there, the city was able to recoup a lot of the expenses that they had because they tracked the volunteer hours and they were reimbursed for the hours that the volunteers served. So it's an important organization to partner with. We have had over 275 volunteers since we started in 2010, and currently we have 193. A lot of times it's attrition that we lose the volunteers. They get to the age where they can't continue volunteering, is why we lose them. We also have volunteers that help with hospice agencies. They help with Lions Club organizations, the local veteran service organizations, and different things like that. So I'm really happy to be here tonight and excited that you all would sign the proclamation, and we look forward to serving even more in the community.
Thank you, Kathy. I think we've all learned a lot from that. I didn't know that much about it. I'm sure a lot of our citizens have learned a lot. Thank you. Appreciate your service. Okay, our third proclamation, third and final, is for the Boys and Girls Club of Coffeyville Week. And we have somebody here, Griffin, and a couple more. Griffin, who you got with you today?
I have Jesus Medina and Olivia.
Jesus and Olivia. Okay.
Galliana.
Well, I'll read the proclamation, and if you guys want to say something, you're definitely welcome. Proclamation reads as, whereas the Boys Club of Coffeyville was formed over 61 years ago in 1955, and in 1990 was transformed into the Boys and Girls Club of Coffeyville in order to serve all the youth of our community. And whereas the local club has grown and been so successful in offering programs to enhance the physical, mental, emotional, and scholastic growth of its club members, thereby creating an environment where their health, social skills, academic performance, and self-esteem has been significantly improved. And whereas the Boys and Girls Club of America has recognized the outstanding efforts of the local club, resulting in a national organization requesting that our local club expand and provide program leadership, support, and guidance to an expansion club located in Parsons, Kansas, and serve as a role model for future expansion, therefore becoming known as the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Kansas. Therefore, I, Vice Mayor of Coffeyville, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of March 22nd through the 28th as Boys and Girls Club of Coffeyville Week, and do hereby urge all parents and legal guardians of Coffeyville's children to consider the positive benefits of allowing the children and youth in their care to participate in the programs offered by the Boys and Girls Club of Southeast Kansas, thereby contributing to their enrichment and growth towards adulthood as productive, law-abiding citizens with a well-grounded understanding of what it means to be part of a caring community. You guys want to go ahead and talk a little bit?
I just want to say thank you. We're one of the first towns in the state of Kansas to get a proclamation for Boys and Girls Club Week. Our Kansas Alliance, which brings in over $90,000 to our Boys and Girls Club a year, was shocked when we presented the idea with them. So we're going to come up with some creative ideas for Boys and Girls Club Week so that it'll magnify across the state of Kansas, and we can be a pillar of the first community to provide a proclamation for Boys and Girls Club Week. So we thank the city of Coffeyville.
Okay, Jesus, what do you do, Jesus?
I am an administrative staff member at the Boys and Girls Club. I've been with the club, this is my 5th year now,
Okay,
and I just work anything that Mr. Walker has me to do.
okay. And I assume you speak
Yes.
Spanish
Yeah.
for our
I
Spanish-speaking
began the
kids?
Boys and Girls Club by giving Spanish lessons to kids there.
Okay. And Olivia, tell us about yourself.
I'm in Fort Worth. I work with the KRR kids, and they learn how to read and learn new words.
And KRR stands for Kansas Reading Roadmaps.
All right, that sounds like a pretty good service. Okay. It's time for our comments from the public. The public is free to comment on items not listed on the agenda. And in addition, public participation is welcome and encouraged for all items on the agenda as topics are discussed. Please address Please address comments to the commission as a body and be mindful of others who may also wish to speak by limiting your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Mary Wilson. We've been listening to about volunteer service, and we have a responsibility as a voter in the election that is soon coming up, which will help the hospital with the ER and the services there. Some people think that their vote doesn't particularly count, and so they don't go to the polls and vote. It takes a little bit of time to do that. I will remind you that President Andrew Johnson was going to be impeached. There was one vote that prevented his impeachment, and he remained in office. So your vote counts very much, and I urge everybody in Coffeyville to get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Wilson. Any more comments from the public? Okay, doesn't look like there's any more. We'll move to old business. Old business, we tabled on March 8th the resolution R-1650, which was to execute an agreement with Buxton for retail recruiting for the city of Coffeyville. And I guess Trish Burden will make some comments.
Can I ask a question? Do we?
Oh, first I need to, go ahead.
When we table a situation, we have to have a motion to bring it back off the table, is that
Yes,
correct?
and that's the next item on the
Right,
agenda. So
okay.
that needs to be addressed before you get into a discussion.
Right, I need to, I skipped that.
So if we don't have a motion, it stays on the table.
If you don't have a motion or a second, or if the motion doesn't pass, then.
It's done.
Say that one more time.
If you don't have a motion and a second and a majority vote to remove the item from the table, then you wouldn't discuss it anymore.
Okay. All right.
Does it stay on the table or just goes
It
away?
dies.
It dies.
Yeah.
But you could bring it back up a year from now if you want.
A month from now, if you want,
Okay.
under a new.
And that's what I thought we were doing at the time. Okay, but anyway, I didn't quite, now I understand it more. Okay? So what we're doing now is looking to see if any of our commissioners, and we have a motion to take the table, to move to take from the table a resolution to execute an agreement with Buxton for retail and recruiting activities for the city of Coffeyville. We'd have to have a motion and a second, correct? So,
I'll make the motion.
do we have a second? Doesn't look like we have a second. Okay? Thank you. We had somebody here from Braxton. I forgot your name already, I'm sorry.
I'm Dennis Marr.
Dennis, we appreciate you coming up here anyway.
So we basically had him come up here for nothing?
It appears that way.
Okay.
I didn't know it. Did you know it?
No, I thought we'd at least talk about it and then vote it down if they wanted to vote it down. But if that's a decision, then that's a decision.
Well, I understand. Your name again was what?
Dennis Marr?
Dennis.
Yes, sir.
I understand. I talked to Dennis real briefly before the meeting, and I understood he was here to answer any questions. So I don't really have any questions. I don't think any of the other ones had any questions. I want to say thanks for coming up anyway, Dennis. Anything else on that? Well, I guess we move to the next one, correct? Okay. Under new business, is next, correct, Cindy?
Under
Okay.
new business, yes.
Under new business, resolution R-16-52, is a resolution to execute a multi-year audit engagement letter with Jared Gilmore and Phillips. Finance Director Stephanie Richard will make comments.
Vice Mayor and Commissioners, the state statutes regulate when an audit is required for a city. There are thresholds that you have to meet based on the amount of revenue that you have roll through the books each year and your amount of debt that you have. The cities exceeds both of those thresholds, so we're required to have an annual audit each year. Staff recently requested RFPs for audit services for the fiscal year 2015, 16, and 17. RFPs were sent to 6 auditing firms that responded to our last request 3 years ago, and then the RFP was also placed on the website. We received 2 competitive quotes from 2 different firms, one out of Chanute and one out of Manhattan. Staff reviewed and ranked those bids. That ranking sheet is included in your agenda packet for your review. It was based on the experience that they had auditing Kansas municipalities following the Kansas Municipal Audit and Accounting Guide and their knowledge of auditing utilities. It is staff's recommendation to execute a contract with Jared Gilmore and Phillips. Like I said, it would be a 3-year audit engagement. This would be approving the first year of that engagement. The next 2 years would be brought back to the commission each year for your approval. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
No, I don't have any questions. Anybody have any questions? Not, we'll need a move to approve that resolution R16-52 for adoption.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Taylor and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve resolution number R-16-52 for adoption. Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Next is resolution number R16-53. A resolution to execute a construction contract with Beinwald and Associates for the 9th Street Sidewalk Improvement Project. Our Public Director Chuck Shelby will make comments.
Mr. Vice Mayor, Commissioners, as you know, the city's received 2 separate CDBG grants for reconstruction of 9th Street and sidewalks from Camden Street to Hall Street. The 2 grants combined are for a total of $750,000 of CDBG funds. The street construction contract for the first grant was awarded in February to Bryant & Bryant Construction and should begin construction any day. The second grant includes new sidewalks and new driveway entrances from the street to the sidewalk. This agenda item is to award the construction contract for that project. When bids were opened on March 10th, 5 bids were received. A tabulation of the bids received is included with my staff report. The low bidder was Bindewald and Associates of Slidell, Louisiana, in the amount of $395,012.20. Although Bindewald is from Louisiana, they're currently working in Coffeyville at the CVR refinery. Since the project's being funded with CDBG grant, we're required to award the low bidder unless there's evidence that the contractor is not competent to complete the project satisfactorily. The regulations also prohibit any local preference. Staff spoke to management at CVR about Bindewald's work, and they gave a favorable, positive reference. The engineer's recommendation of award to Bindewald is also included with my staff report. The grant will pay for 87.5% of the combined grant administration, engineering, inspection, and construction costs up to a maximum of $350,000 of CDBG funds, and then the city is responsible for the other 12.5% of the project costs, up to a total project cost of $400,000, and then we pay 100% of anything over that. In addition to the street project and the sidewalk project, the city previously awarded a construction contract to Nowalk Construction for replacement of the water main in the same project area. That project is currently under construction. I just wanted to point out that if you award the project to Bindewald, city staff and our engineer will be managing 3 construction projects with 3 different contractors in the same project area at the same time. Although it's not an ideal situation, our procurement procedures and the CDBG procurement regulations require us to go with the low bidder on each project, the low responsible bidder. We're prepared for anything that may come up between contractors. We'll be keeping a close eye on that. So I recommend that you approve the proposed resolution authorizing execution of a construction contract in the amount of $395,012.20 with Bindewald and Associates LLC for the 9th Street Sidewalk Improvements Project, CDBG grant number 15PF042. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions.
I understand Drew's here. You're with the company, Drew, representative. I'm just curious, I mean, it's really not much we can really, negotiate, it doesn't sound like, but I'd like to know, I think the public might want to know how much local help will they use, how much local material, the concrete. Can you speak on that real quick? Come on up, Drew, if you would. Tell them who you are real quick, if you would, Drew.
Hi, I'm Andrew Huff with Bindewald and Associates. I'm head of operations and sales for Coffeyville, Kansas. We plan on using all local help for this, and we will buy all of our materials locally here in this area. We have a base of operations here out of South Coffeyville. Like I said, we've done business with Coffeyville, Kansas at the refinery for the last year and a half. And we use all local vendors here to buy all of our material. So we try to use all help that we can here locally. We just got a bid in the refinery, and I just hired, I believe, 7 local people to do that.
How many people will you work on that project?
We will probably hire, I know we'll need 6 laborers and then some truck drivers that'll be local. That I'm going to take right
About how long does it take, about?
We're looking probably 2 months or so.
Okay. Thank you.
And we'll probably spend at least $150,000 local money on materials.
Sounds good, Drew.
So,
thank you.
I appreciate it.
Andrew.
Drew?
And I'd also point out that when we looked on Bindewald's website, Coffeyville is listed as one of their offices, so they could be considered a local contractor anyway.
Sure. Okay. Great. We've got another resolution, R-16-54.
Vice Mayor, we need to vote on that one.
I'm sorry. I was done, sorry.
Make a motion to approve R-16-53 for approval.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Martin and seconded by Commissioner Taylor to approve resolution number R-16-53 for adoption. Commissioner Martin?
Aye.
Commissioner Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Commissioner Castler?
Aye.
Okay. The next one will be resolution R-16-54. It's for a construction contract with Bryant Construction for milling and asphalt overlay of 9th Street, including curb and gutter replacement. Again, Chuck Shively will make comments.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners, as we've been discussing, the city was awarded CDBG grants, and we've awarded now construction contracts for replacement of the streets, sidewalks, and water line on 9th Street from Camden Street to Hall Street. The original concept for the project was for the project to be from Willow Street to Buckeye Street, but discussions with CDBG staff prior to submitting the first grant application indicated that our chances of receiving the grant would be lower if the project area included the college dormitories. The reason for that is the CDBG program is primarily aimed at benefiting residential low to moderate income areas. So we revised the project area to Camden Street to Hall Street. Now that we have a construction contract awarded for the street project, we requested a quote from that contractor to perform milling and asphalt overlay plus curb and gutter replacement where specified in the area from the east end of the CDBG projects east 3 blocks to Willow Street. That additional project will be beneficial to complete the original project concept, and it's needed because of the condition of the street. Also, the fact that the contractor's already mobilized to perform the grant project means the price for the additional work will be lower than you could ever expect if you bid the project separately at a later time. The contractor submitted a quote to perform the additional work based on the same unit prices that they bid on the grant project with no additional mobilization or other costs. The total amount requested for the additional work is $134,572. If awarded, this project will be funded entirely with city street sales tax funds and must be kept totally separate from the CDBG grants. Before you vote on this item, I do want to point out that if you do approve it, I don't want it to be a surprise, the next agenda item is for additional engineering inspection for this project in an amount not to exceed $11,000. So I recommend that you approve the proposed resolution authorizing execution of a construction contract in the amount of $134,572 with Bryant and Bryant Construction Incorporated for milling, asphalt, and curb and gutter replacement in the area from Camden Street to Willow Street on 9th Street. I'd be happy to answer any questions on that one.
My question is that with using funds from the street improvement project,
yes,
does this affect our 5-year, 6-year plan on the plan that we're on?
That 5-year plan is always evolving and changing depending on bid costs and different things. And we have actually went over it recently, and we have the funds available. It won't stop any other projects that we had planned.
Okay. I just want to make one statement here. I agree with you that that's always evolving, but we put a map out there showing people,
right,
this is when your street's going to be paved, or this is when your street's going to be fixed. It's evolving, but we've already put it out there that we're going to do
right,
it.
and I believe that
this.
map showed this project from Willow to Buckeye, actually.
Okay.
But we couldn't use it for the grant, but now
Right.
we're coming back and bringing it back in.
So, and just to clarify, this is not going to affect should not affect it.
Should not affect, I can't say 100% that we'll have the funds for everything we said, but so far we are.
Okay.
We're following our plan.
Okay.
And, yeah.
That satisfied my question. Thank you.
Any more questions? No, we need a move to approve resolution R16-54 for adoption.
One other question before we go. This comes from the sales tax generated from the street sales tax?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
But we're only paying, it's only costing, out of that money, it's only what, it's only how much, was it?
100 and, I have it right.
The total cost of the,
$134,570.
and how much the entire project?
The bigger CDBG project was, I think the construction was close to 800,000.
Is that part of this? Or that's
No,
the
we
last-
have to keep these totally
Okay,
separate, but it's
okay.
the same contractor,
Okay,
and we're
that's
getting a
fine.
lower
Okay.
price because they're already going to be on the
Okay,
site.
I get, okay, I got you. I lost track, sorry. Okay. Again, do we have a resolution?
We have a motion. Commissioner Taylor.
I'll second it.
Motion was made by Commissioner Taylor and seconded by Commissioner Williams to approve resolution number R-16-54 for adoption. Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye. Okay, check you up again. Resolution R-16-55 is a resolution to execute a work authorization with Trans Systems Corporation for 9th Street Improvement Project. Again, Chuck Shelby will make comments.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners, this is the item I spoke about on the previous item. The additional street work will require some additional engineering and inspection outside of the CDBG scope of services. So I'm recommending that you approve a resolution authorizing a work authorization in an amount not to exceed $11,000 to Trans Systems Corporation under the existing General Civil Engineering Services Agreement to provide engineering and inspection services for the additional curb and gutter and street replacement.
Questions? I move to approve 16-55 resolution.
Motion was made by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve resolution number R-16-55 for adoption. Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Okay. Now we're at number 5, Resolution R-16-56, a resolution to execute an agreement with the Independent Electric Company for boiler repairs for the electric utility. Electric Generation Superintendent Mr. Tony Lawson will make comments.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners. On March 3rd, this is the boiler feed pump motor that incurred a bearing failure, which resulted in major damage to the bearing seals, rotor, winding, so on. Load on this machine was immediately lowered and pump was taken offline. Since this has resulted, we've been in a D rate of 40% capacity on unit number 7, which is approximately $2,200 a day. Staff recommends the mayor be authorized to enter into an agreement with Independent Electric and Machinery Company for repairs on this motor in an amount not to exceed $39,077. I'm glad to try to answer any questions if you have.
How long?
Do what?
How long until we're up and running again if we?
We're expecting this motor actually back tomorrow, as long as it has passed all the final testing at the shop. So it should be shipped back to us tomorrow, and hopefully by the end of the week, first of next week, we'd have it in and going.
Okay.
What's that motor weigh?
5,000. I'm really not for sure. That's just a guess on my part.
Don't drop it.
No, it's heavy.
Okay. Okay, we need a motion. Back on track
Move to
here.
approve resolution R-16-56.
Motion was made by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve resolution number R-16-56 for adoption. Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin. Commissioner Taylor.
Thanks, Tony. Okay, resolution R-1657 is a resolution to implement a January 1st of 16 through December 31st of 16, the whole year, okay, a personnel manual memorandum of agreement with the International Union of Operating Engineers. City Manager Kendall Francis will make comments.
Vice Mayor, Commissioner, what you have before you on both this resolution and the following one are our MOAs with IUOE, and we have been negotiating with them since my arrival in August of last year, and I've provided you with a red line copy of the memorandum, and it is a one-year agreement, and I would entertain any questions. I don't have anything really specific to say to you about them.
Can I ask a question? Resolution number R-16-57 and R-16-58. The first one is a resolution to enter into the agreement with the International Union of Operating Engineers. The second one is the same exact motion, but it's the enter into agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police. Your comments are going to be the same for both?
Correct.
Both item agendas
all right.
or agenda items?
Quite honestly, I don't have anything to spell out to you in other than what you have seen as far as the...
We read it, or I did.
Right, provided with you. The things we have discussed previously, and we think that we've come to a win-win solution for both the city and both of the unions.
I don't have any questions on either agenda item.
Don't either.
I move to approve the resolution number R-16-57 and resolution number R-16-58.
Motion was made by Commissioner Williams and seconded by Commissioner Martin to approve resolutions number R-16-57 and R-16-58 for adoption. Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin. Commissioner Castler.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
All right. Good move, Chris, good move. All right. We can do that about any time we want, can't we? Combine them, if there's no more questions, I mean,
Sure.
we've done it before, I
Yes,
just,
absolutely.
okay. All right, it's time for our city manager report.
Vice Mayor and Commission, I would like to defer the beginning of this to Chuck Shively. He has some comments about our street improvements that we've been embarked on in the last few years, and we've asked him to present some of the numbers associated with that. I don't think that we do a good enough job touting our accomplishments.
Okay.
And
Did we take 5 minutes first? Would everybody
we
mind?
have, you're
This
the
will be
boss.
about 5 minutes and it'll
Okay.
be done, but
That'd be
it's up to
fine
you.
if,
Okay, we'll do that and then take 5.
okay.
Whichever.
Okay, that'll work.
Mayor and Vice Mayor and Commissioners, at the strategic planning session last week, I was requested to present a brief update at this meeting on the progress of our street improvement program. The city of Coffeyville has approximately 101 miles of non-highway streets and 7 miles of 4-lane highways for a total of 108 miles of streets to maintain. As we've discussed before, for decades, the city did not have a dedicated source of funds for street improvements or maintenance, so there was no way to plan strategically for improvements. In order to even begin to properly address the problem, we needed a dedicated source of funds. So we took the issue to the voters to fund street maintenance and improvement through sales taxes. The voters approved a half-cent sales tax dedicated to non-highway streets beginning in 2010 and extending it through 2025. We also now have another half-cent sales tax dedicated to city streets since 2013 that extends through 2023. With 2 dedicated sources of revenues through 2023 and 2025, city staff began to develop a multi-year plan to improve streets throughout Coffeyville. City staff proposed and the City Commission unanimously approved that 70% of funds be allocated to preventive maintenance, such as crack sealing, surface sealing, and the remaining 30% be allocated to repair and replacement, such as milling and overlaying, intersection replacement, street repair, and reconstruction. In 2011, 12, and 13, we contracted large crack sealing projects using part of the 70% preventive maintenance funds, in addition to city crews doing in-house crack sealing. During the 2013 project, which ran into 2014, the City Commission approved borrowing $800,000 from another city fund to accelerate our crack sealing program. We've now crack sealed virtually every street in town that's not beyond being saved by crack sealing, and we're now repaying the loan. Beginning this year, we plan to resume crack sealing on a smaller scale where needed, including city-owned parking lots. So our accomplishments to date and near future plans include in 2011 through 14, we crack sealed nearly every street in town that's not beyond being saved. In 2013 through 2015, we surface sealed 350 to 400 blocks, or approximately 31 miles out of the total of 101 miles of non-highway streets that we have. In 2012 through 15, we contracted to improve a total of 29 intersections by either full intersection replacement or drainage swale replacements.
How many
Plus-
intersections was it, Chuck? Excuse me.
That's 29 contracted, plus another 12 by city crews for a total of 41 intersections that have been improved in the last 4 years.
A lot of intersections.
Between 15 and 20 of those, I think, were full intersections. In 2014-15, we reconstructed or replaced 10 full blocks of streets on Union Street, Boulder Street, Grant Street, and Fresno Street. We replaced the 4th and Northeast intersection with 90% KDOT geometric improvement grant funds. We repaired and resurfaced 3 miles of 4-lane highway with 50% KDOT CLINK grant funds. We're now currently beginning construction on replacement of 9 blocks of 9th Street, including street surface, sidewalks, driveways, handicap ramps, etc., with 2 CDBG grants, one paying 50% and the other paying 87.5%. That project also involves replacement and relocation of the water line in the project area. Plus, we just added 3 blocks to that project tonight. Construction should be starting any day now on the 8th and Northeast intersection with 90% KDOT geometric improvement grant funds. Design is underway for repairing and resurfacing another 2 miles of 4-lane highway with 75% KDOT CLINK grant funds this time. We have been awarded a 90% KDOT geometric improvement grant for widening and replacement of the 11th and Willow intersection. We're currently in the engineer selection process for that grant. We have the Acme expansion $1 million KDOT economic development grant project under design to bid this year. We have another 6 intersections under design for full intersection or swale replacements to bid this year. We have a curb and gutter replacement project under design on Wilshire Boulevard south of 1st Street to bid this year. We're preparing to surface seal another 125 to 150 blocks of streets this year, or approximately 11 more miles. When added to the previous 31, that makes the total to date approximately, with that, after we do it, 42 miles out of the 101 total miles of non-highway streets. We're beginning to put together a list of streets and parking lots to crack seal this year. And on top of all that, city public service crews continue to patch potholes and utility cuts whenever asphalt's available, replace bad concrete joints on the highways in-house, replace concrete intersection swales, make street repairs as necessary ahead of the surface seal projects, perform in-house crack sealing, etc., in addition to their many duties. Also, many of the street projects include coordination with the city water department to replace the water mains before the streets are repaired. And that's basically what I had to report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So your report is about the accomplishments of the city road work.
We are making good progress and plan to do quite a bit more this year still.
Obviously, I mean, it's obvious you guys have been busy, but the citizens of Coffeyville can't say we're not, getting some stuff done. Obviously. Sounds very good, Chuck. Guys got anything to say?
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Is that report in a summary? Can we put that on?
And the report will be placed on the city website.
Okay.
But That's your tax dollar at work.
Right. Yeah, it sounds very good. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
I thought you were getting ready to ask for some more money or something. I didn't know where you were headed with it, but it sounds great. Very good report. I think, is it coming back to me that we talked about maybe putting something like that together a while back or something? Sam?
Yeah, we talked about it last week at strategic planning.
Okay. All right, okay. I remember now.
We need to do a better job of promoting the good things going on in that.
Exactly.
That's a good
Exactly.
start.
That came up in our strategic
Absolutely.
planning meeting, and job well done, city staff and everybody, and Chuck. Okay, Kendall, you have any more, or the city manager report?
I do.
We're going to have our 5-minute meeting.
You had,
Or recess.
you had indicated you were going to ask for a recess. Yes.
Okay, we're going to have a recess for 5 minutes. Is that enough?
I think that'll do.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Kendall, you got anything to add?
I got a pretty extensive list here.
Okay.
Let's start off with a little bragging rights. The hometown showdown. We are in the Final Four, the city of Coffeyville, and that's
Final Four from the hometown showdown.
that's right. And being a K-State fan, I don't get to see the Final Four very often, so I have to go with this picture contest. So we're going to encourage everyone to go to the League of Kansas Municipalities Facebook page and like our picture, and we'll get into the championship. We are pitted against Atchison, which will be a very formidable opponent. And
Who's
so,
that?
what did you say?
I said, who's that?
Who's that? Just a nobody. And I hope their manager isn't watching this.
So this is Cindy's photo.
And
that
you
she
can,
took.
you
Yes.
can get to the league's page, to the picture from the city's Facebook page, the Chamber's Facebook page, the city website. We're making it really easy for people to find the link.
On the post, there's a link there. Click on that link, it'll take you directly to our picture. So you don't like our page, but you like the picture itself. And then share it and encourage everyone else, all your friends around the world, to come and like our picture. We need as many votes as we can get. So a little hometown pride right there. Also, I want to make you aware that the railroad crossings at 1st and 4th Street were repaired this last week, and they're a noticeable improvement. I've had a lot of comments from people to thank us that we got something accomplished, that it's a lot nicer. In regards to that, well, in regards to Watco, we're going to have a meeting with them next week to talk about the addition of an additional track across South Walnut. And so they are making preparations. I believe they had bids go out or opened yesterday. So there will be some work that will be taking place on South Walnut in the near future. A little update on our community branding initiative. We held one-on-one interviews last week and today right here in this facility. Professor Thomas was here both days to conduct some one-on-one interviews with citizens to get some input from them. And we've had
I heard that went pretty well.
I believe it has. I have not had the chance to speak to him much today. I've been pretty tied up. And he's already left to go back to Lawrence. But we've also opened up a community-wide survey, online survey, also one to the high school. They participated, and we will be engaging the college students in the near future. So that's some work that's going on behind the scenes right now. Just a quick update as far as our municipal projects. City Hall, PEC engineers were here this last week, and they're giving us some concepts for the stairwell, and as also the HVAC systems. And we'll be convening a meeting with State Historic Preservation Office on site here probably the first week of April to get their input on our proposed plans.
Will we have an architect on that?
Pardon me?
Who will be our architect on that project?
We're kind of serving as our own architect, but that's why we've engaged engineers for structural engineers and the mechanical engineering part for the HVAC system and the stairway. We needed some engineering assistance on the stairwell. So, also let you know that we have some seasonal job openings that were, I believe, just posted today on the website. Quite a few, and we're looking for assistant pool manager, some workers for the concession stands at the pool, also several lifeguards, and also some laborers in the public service department for both, I think, the cemetery and just general laborers. I want to let you know our mobile app is complete and it is available, and so you can go to either the iTunes store or the Android store and download our mobile app, City of Coffeyville mobile app, for free. And if you have an Android phone, I believe that you need to put quotation marks around City of Coffeyville when you're searching for it. And I can't quite understand. I don't know why, other than you do. And then you'll find it. You'll be able to download it for free. And if you're an iPhone user, just look for the City of Coffeyville, and it'll be a little handy little app, so you can get all things Coffeyville on there.
Oh, wow.
Are we going to put that on our website, or is it already there?
We will be doing more promotion. I've been focusing right now on Hometown Showdown, so we'll do more promotion
Understand.
on that.
So back to that Hometown Showdown, what do we, or is there a prize, or just?
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights,
Bragging
and,
rights,
and
okay.
plus
I didn't know if they had
our picture will be shown on the front page of the Kansas Government Journal. So, but mostly it's bragging rights. So.
And the pictures at the fair with the Ferris wheel?
Correct.
And
It's generating a lot of good promotion for the community and a lot of positive comments, and I think that's the best thing to hear. People are excited about it, and, you know, we're competitive, so we want to win.
So I would encourage you to take the time to read the comments that citizens have written, and many of them don't live here right now. They're former residents, but they have fond memories of Interstate Fair and Rodeo and of Coffeyville. So
It's good promotion for the fair also.
Now, have you won some other awards, Cindy, with some of your photography? Or?
No.
This
This
will be your first
is
one?
just bragging rights. Yeah.
Also, in response, Commissioner Martin had asked about care and upkeep of the pecan trees at Walter Johnson Park. I've engaged the Community Forest Coordinator, Tim McDonald. He'll be here on the 1st of April to evaluate the trees there and give us his input as to what needs to take place. We didn't want to just start trimming haphazardly. And so he will be in town to evaluate that. Also let you know that the police department received a grant to look for impaired drivers, $9,860. So they'll be that will help pay for some additional saturation patrols and check lanes. So we'll be seeing some of that in the near future. Congratulations to them and for applying for that grant and receiving that.
And we did get it.
We did get, yes, $9,860, I believe.
So that just pays for labor for the year?
Well, for this, it's actually a reduced time period. It was actually for 2015 into 2016. But so it will pay for this additional manpower for these patrols.
Okay, cool.
Also a reminder that we will be doing the changeover for trash come the first week of April. The last week of this month, the polycarts will start being picked up, and then you'll start seeing polycarts for Republic will start being left off. So, and
does the public have to think about putting the carts out there, or do they just change them out?
They will change them out for us, yes.
If they're in your backyard or in your driveway, not out by the street, they'll come change them out for you?
Waste Connections, who is our current contractor, when they pick up your trash for the last day, they will pick up the polycart also.
Pick up the polycart as well.
Is that map on the website, the new map?
Yes, it is.
The map is on the website. We also sent out these flyers. You should have received it by now at home. If you have not, please let us know. We can make certain that you get one. But the map that shows the new routes, and everyone will have a new route. Is that correct, Cindy?
There are a few that will have the same day, but the majority of people will have new routes.
Okay, and also then the bulky day will move to Monday, which is a big change.
And that will start after April 1st. It'll be on Friday this week.
Okay. The last little thing I want to remind you, there is a retirement party for Jolene Greer. It'll be Thursday this week from 2 to 4 o'clock at CRMC. And just a kind of a side note to that, we took applications for her replacement, and we received 80 applications for that position. So we're currently filtering through them, and we'll be getting interviews in the near future.
No.
And I believe, just a touch base that we did have I believe, a successful strategic planning session. Met with John Devine last week. We had a couple of suggestions going forward, and one that we talked about was the possibility of adding a work session. There's a feeling that we need more communication on some of our, especially of our larger projects. That and so that's an idea that I would ask that the commission would consider. I will say that it's only going to be successful if we have full participation of the commission. And in defense of my staff, they already spend a considerable amount of time on the job outside of the normal 8 to 5 working hours. So for me to ask them to spend more time, before the commission meeting or whenever we would decide to have it, I would ask that the commission would be fully engaged in that as well.
Okay, now you guys don't know about that, right? You know what we're talking about, Chris?
I don't know, tell me.
Okay, well, we're talking about getting together for 30 minutes before the meeting. You were at some of the meetings, but you weren't at that.
Yes, that's right.
And this last one, we wanted.
The proposal was we thought that if we were to convene a work session at 6 o'clock, and then we'd have a 6:30 deadline, because the regular meeting would have to start, that would give us an opportunity for an open, free discussion about some of the upcoming agenda items, some of the larger tasks that we have going. Might give an opportunity for staff to report on certain things, such as what Chuck gave tonight regarding the update on street projects and on things like that. It's just a suggestion, and we'll leave it up to the commission to decide on how they'd want to move forward. But
Yeah, I recall I wasn't at that meeting because I went and seen my son who's in the United States Army
Hey, I'm not knocking
serving
it.
his country.
I'm not
So,
knocking it, I'm just saying, hey.
I just wanted to put that out there.
Right.
All right.
Feel free to talk about it. I mean, I'm not knocking it, and I know some of the others weren't some of them, and I haven't met some of them. It wasn't about that. Sometimes we go into these talks, guys, and you don't really know what's going on, and it's structured one way. And I think I'd open up the conversation is, we're on all the meetings. We're trying, and we're not knocking anybody.
Perhaps a little
Let me phrase it like this.
would come into play, but
Well-
evidently I was wrong.
Let me, don't get defensive, okay? Let me phrase it like this. Since I've been a commissioner, and I've said this publicly several times, we come in here, we're under the microphone, and by the way, we're talking about doing this thing off camera, okay? If the public wants to come, they can. But we talked about it in a strategic planning meeting the other day. It was about, 3 hours? And I felt that we need some time for like a town hall. We talk about things I asked about this the other day, and John Klein thought a lot of cities do this. They have a time where you can talk about things a little more relaxed, a little more open, and you're not under quite so much pressure. Okay? Like I said, it's not on the camera. They don't turn the camera on. We talked about this, and we talk about it. I feel like we get in here, we say prayer, we give allegiance, and everything's structured, and there's really no time just to talk. And I know other cities, according to John, they do this. Sometimes they have a couple a year, and some of them, he says quite a few of them, will have it 30 minutes before the meeting. And I, for one, think I would take time. I think we need to do that as commissioners, working together and staff to talk about some of these things. And John, when we talked about the other day at the meeting, that our last strategic planning committee Tuesday, it was well received, and I think we should do that. I don't know if we have to do it every time, You know, maybe we can do it, I don't know how we want to do it, but I'd like to have 30 minutes, you know. I've said all along, I think the 4 commissioners should have time to get together and talk about things. You know, in business, you do it all the time, but no, we can't have a meeting. You know, we can't be trusted to talk and gang up on everybody. If, you know, we need to be able to have a little time to talk about things. That's what it's about. And I think, you know, we owe the citizens of Coffeyville everything we got going, and a little bit of time to talk about things. We can experiment with it. We don't have to do it from now on, but have 30 minutes to talk about things, just like this deal that happened today. I mean, you know, we got this guy up here from Bruxton, and no one even knew he was coming. I mean, there needs to be a little bit of time to talk and get along, okay? And talk about things. Have a conversation. We're not on the camera, and we're talking about things that we need to talk about. That's the only way we can do it in a structured meeting. It's got to be open to the public. And I'm fine with that. I just think, turn the camera off for 30 minutes. We don't do the pledge, we don't do prayer until 6:30. Come in at 6, we have a meeting, we can talk, and then we do our formal meeting at 6:30. And that's what John said a lot of cities do. I think he said Salina did that, didn't he?
He does.
Yeah. And I think that's what we need to try. I think it'd be good, not PR and employ, you know, sing Humboldt once in a while, okay? I mean, I think we need to get together and talk about things. Maybe we want to try it once a month and not every other week, I don't know. But I think, you know, it came up in our strategic planning, and what do you think about it, Marcus?
I like the idea. I think we need to come together. I said communication's not been that great for a while. I'm leaving it up to the commission if they want to do it. I back it, but it's up to everybody else.
You know, and it may be an opportunity that we discuss this once we have a full commission, but
Right.
leave it up for,
And
it was just an idea that was brought forward.
And I thought our strategic planning meeting went pretty well. I learned from it. I thought John was fantastic. I don't know what we paid him, but, I mean, he was well worth it.
$6,000.
Yeah. I learned from it, okay?
Are you done with your report?
I am done with my report, yes.
Okay.
Can I say something? 2 things that I took away from the strategic plannings that I went to, or actually 1 thing that I took away from the strategic planning meetings that I went to, is that you need to come prepared. That's 1 thing that I took away from those meetings. The second thing is I'm not a whole advocate of turning the cameras off and having a discussion. You know why? Because we represent the people. There's not anything that I would say out there that I wouldn't say right there at that camera. I guarantee you. So that's my stance on that.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. If you want to leave the cameras on, fine. He said some of them leave on, some of them don't. I just like to talk about some things once in a while. And we can always, if it's worthy of conversation to the public, they can always be here. And we can always bring it back up that, hey, we've got something that we really want the public to know about. It's a double-edged sword, and I could live either way with it. Mayor, ex-mayor, I could live either way with it. I really could. I just think we need to spend some time talking about some things, and it might make our other meetings go a little quicker sometimes. That 30 minutes would just be totally wasted. And if we got done in 20 minutes, we could take a break and whatnot, however you guys wanted to do it. Something to talk about. Okay, comments from Commissioner. Do you have any more?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Ken, you didn't have any more?
No.
Okay. Comments from commissioners and staff.
Vice Mayor and Commissioners, I just wanted to make you aware that we did have the bond closing this morning for our municipal building projects. So we do have those bond proceeds in the bank account, and we're ready to move forward with those projects.
Okay. All righty. I would like to talk sometime about the lawyer that was here and talked a little bit about, you want to make sure our reserves, he was a little bit concerned about our reserves, and I'd like to get some feedback from staff on how we're going to address that kind of keep our eye on the ball on that.
I believe he's referring to the 10%
He's
of
re-
cash reserves.
That was
Tom
the-
Calico.
Right, that was the
Bond
bond
counsel.
council, right.
Right.
Financial advisor for Spring.
Right.
Seemed like a pretty sharp guy. I mean, really sharp gentleman. Any more comments from commissioners or staff?
I do, real quick. A while ago, we voted on the hospital. I went in not knowing a lot about what was going on. The hospital really didn't, for me anyways, open up too much and talk. I sat in that strategic planning meeting, and I heard the concerns of the staff. And then Friday, I sat in on a meeting and listened to some board members and some other people. I walked away with a very different notion than I did when I went in. Mr. Francis invited them to come, and they didn't want to, for whatever reason that is. To the public, I want to apologize for making a rash decision without fully thinking of it. I was basing it off something that I didn't know, and for that, I will try to do better. That's all I have.
Okay. Anything else? You all right?
I'm doing good, how are you?
I'm good. No comments? Nope. Okay. Executives, no, we don't have any executive sessions?
No.
Okay. General Staff Committee, board reports and minutes? Nothing there? Okay, time to adjourn.
You make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Martin and seconded by Commissioner Castler to adjourn. All in favor?